So what does it really mean to be healthy? If I ask people, are you healthy or not? The vast majority of people, they're gonna say, yes, I'm healthy. Unless they have an active disease or diagnosis or cancer that they've been diagnosed with, most people think they're healthy, but 5 out of 6 Americans right now die of either heart disease or cancer. If they die of a disease, it's either one of the two. And the challenge with that is, how are you feeling as you're developing heart disease or cancer? You don't actually feel it. And so you're not feeling the problem. However, there is a problem, and if you ask most people, are you healthy, they're gonna say yes. When I was 18 years old, I started getting severe digestive problems. I would run to the bathroom 10 and 15 times every single day, and I'd go weeks without using the bathroom at all. And I started getting blood in the stool. And I was taken to the doctor, and they ran all these tests on me. And they first thought it was Crohn's disease, and then they thought it was ulcerative colitis. And they couldn't tell which one, but they gave me medications and told me to take those, and I was supposed to take those for the rest of my life. I remember taking the medications, coming back in to the same doctor, the same doctor's office 3 years later, still having digestive issues, still having blood in the stool, and the problems actually got worse. And I remember him sitting there talking to me about the different options and the different problems that it could be and the different tests that we could run. And I remember just thinking, what's wrong with me? Why is my body broken? Why is it that I'm having all these symptoms? And I literally waited until the wheels fell off for me to really take my health seriously. And I see this so often where people will wait. I see it with patients who will come in. They'll wait for the sickness or the disease or the diagnosis, and then they'll realize they're sick. And the realization that I had right there is that it wasn't at the diagnosis that I was sick, I was sick all along. And I wish that somebody would have walked me through what sickness really is and really what health really is. And so when we talk about health, what does it really mean to be healthy? And the challenge is, when I ask people that question, what does it mean to be healthy? I get answers like, if I feel good, I'm healthy. Well, the reality is that you don't always feel the problem developing. I didn't feel my problem developing, and think about the top disease killers right now in this country. Think about heart disease, think about cancer. You don't feel these problems developing. And so if you're waiting for the symptoms to show up, as an example with heart disease, 70% of the time, the first symptom of heart disease is the heart attack itself. So you don't feel the problem developing, yet the problem was there the entire time. You don't feel cancer developing, the problem was there the entire time. In fact, the most dangerous position to put yourself is in the position of, hey, I'm healthy because I feel good. So for you to get a symptom in your body, you have to realize that you have to start losing function over time in order to get a symptom. So if your body is designed to function at 100%, which it absolutely is, if you're designed to function at 100%, you don't feel the symptom start at 90%, at 80%, at 70%. You get all the way down to 60% function, and then you get your first symptom. And when you get a symptom in your body in this country, what are we taught to do with a symptom in your body? We're taught to mask the symptom of the problem. So let's say it's a headache. We're taught to take Excedrin. We're taught to take Advil. We mask the symptom. The underlying issue is still there. Did that actually make you healthy? The answer is no. And what I find is that we spend a lifetime, because we feel better and we judge our health based off how we feel, we run to the medicine cabinet, we take the medication, we feel better, so we assume the problem is gone. And then what happens the next time? We get the same symptom, we do the same thing because it seemingly worked. You can see how this spirals out of control. People will spend years, sometimes decades of their life, running to the medicine cabinet or running to the doctor until they realize, hey, there's a symptom in my body, and that symptom was actually a warning sign of a problem. It's not the problem, it's a warning sign of the problem. So the real question is, what's interfering with your body's ability to be healthy? What's interfering with your body's ability to function and heal at 100%? Because when your body is functioning and healing at 100%, that's when you're healthy. When your heart is beating and healing and functioning at 100%, you don't get heart disease. That's true prevention. When your immune system is functioning and healing at 100%, you don't get the flu, you don't get the cold that's going around, you don't get cancer. And the good news is that we all have cancer cells inside of our body, but our body's already pre-programmed to seek out, surround, and destroy cancer. On a day in and day out basis, that's what's happening inside of you right now, that's what's happening inside of me right now, as long as your body is functioning and healing at its absolute best. So the real definition of health is actually right there in the word health. It's how is your body healing? How is it functioning? You have 100 trillion cells inside of you. They each perform about 100 different chemical reactions. If you had to think about that happening in order to keep yourself alive, we'd all be dead. But the reality is that there's an intelligence that I believe was designed there to run and govern and control you, keep you in perfect balance at every single moment and every single second of every single day. And this intelligence inside of your body, it doesn't need help, it just needs no interference. So what's interfering with your body's ability to be healthy? And so for me, it's logical to look at the one system that controls healing, controls functioning inside of the body, and that's your nervous system. That's your brain and spinal cord. God put the most amazing healing power inside of your brain and your spinal cord. So right now, your brain and spinal cord controls everything. For your heart to be beating, for your lungs to be breathing, for a cut to heal on your leg, information starts in the brain, sends a signal down the spinal cord and goes to every single organ, every single cell, every single tissue is under direct control of your brain and spinal cord. And you have 24 individual movable vertebrae that surround and protect the brainstem, the spinal cord, the nervous system. And the spine has to be in proper alignment to protect you. So it should be stacked on top of each other from the front, and there should be 3 curves from the side. One in the neck, one in the mid-back, and then one in the low back. And when your spine's in this position, it's properly protecting the nervous system. There's no interference to the nervous system. The body is functioning and healing at its best. But what happens throughout a course of a lifetime, whether that's slips and falls, whether that's car accidents, whether it's texting, whether that's driving, whether that's the fact that we have repetitive stress injuries at work, or maybe that's improper lifting techniques or improper sleeping mechanics. What happens over the course of a lifetime is that we ignore the alignment of our spine, so the spine will shift out of its normal position. It'll cause pressure to build up on the nerves or nervous system itself. That's what's called subluxation. And when you have subluxation, everyone thinks that it has to cause massive pain because there's pressure on the nervous system. It's not the case. Only 4% of the nerves actually feel pain. 96% of the nerves go to the organs and the cells and the tissues. So can you have subluxation, pressure building up in the nervous system, and never feel it? The answer to that is absolutely yes. But there are certain warning signs that you should be aware of subluxation. One of them is when the spine shifts out of its normal position, especially right up here. This is called your atlas bone. It's the very top bone in your neck. When it shifts out of its normal position, symptoms of that can be things like headaches. Now, I had a lady tell me she gets normal headaches. She goes, "I just get the normal kind, doc." Well, there's no such thing as normal headaches. A headache is always your warning sign, like a check engine light going off in your car, telling you something is wrong. Just like a check engine light in your car, you wouldn't put a piece of duct tape over the check engine light and keep driving. Well, the same thing with a headache. It's telling you that there's a problem going on and that you need to check the cause. 9 times out of 10, somebody with chronic headaches, and I'm talking about the kind that keep coming back and there seems to be no cause to it, 9 times out of 10, if you check the top bone of the neck, if that's shifted, if that's rotated, if there's pressure building up on the nervous system right there, a symptom of that can be a headache. You go down further in the spine at C5, C6, and C7, there's 7 cervical vertebrae. Branches of those nerves go into thyroid, a gland that controls metabolism, weight gain, and weight loss. A lot of people have underlying dysfunction or malfunction of thyroid that would not show up on blood tests. You have to look back at the roots. Those same nerves are the ones that go into shoulder. So it's very common for somebody to have shoulder problems that aren't necessarily coming directly from the shoulder. It's actually coming from the neck. Now, those same nerves that go down into your shoulders, down into your arms, down into your hands, those are the same nerves that go into your heart. They go into your lungs. When somebody has a heart attack, oftentimes they'll get pain that shoots down the arm because it's the same nerves. In the upper back, tightness between the shoulder blades is not normal. That's a sign of muscle imbalance due to shifting of the spine. It could also be rib problems. You don't know how many people that I see on a regular basis, they'll have difficulty taking a deep breath in and all the way out, and it's due to the fact that they have a rib subluxation in the upper back, and that's causing problems to develop there and inability to really function at its absolute best. You go down further in the spine, those are the nerves that make up your nerves that go into your legs, control the muscles in your legs. Some people will have symptoms of sciatica. Now, sciatica is a real problem, and how we treat it is the difference. Because you could go in there and take a muscle relaxer, a pain injection, or an anti-inflammatory, and you could feel better, but if the underlying issue is still there, did that actually make you better? So if you had 97% blockage of a nerve that's going to your heart, how would you ever know that? And the challenge is that most people don't know. And there's 2 critical tests that I recommend. One is called a surface EMG. Surface EMG testing, it's very similar to a EKG for the heart in the fact that it reads the electricity. So it's the one test that I'm aware of that can detect dysfunction in the nervous system before it turns into major problems or disease. This technology is amazing. What it does is developed by NASA engineers, and you run it down the spine and at every single level, because there's 24 individual movable vertebrae, at every single level it's going to detect whether there's dysfunction, whether there's imbalance, and ultimately where problems exist before you get the problem. A second test that confirms and identifies where problems are in the nervous system, and it's structural x-rays that are measured down to the millimeter to determine where the pressure is building up, where the nerves are being damaged, ultimately where the organs are going to be affected. And once we see where the problems are, the idea is not just to find out, oh, you have a problem. The idea is, okay, what do you do about your problems or your health issues? And let's say right now you feel good, you feel like, hey, I don't necessarily have symptoms of problems, but how would you ever know if you had damaging pressure building up on your nervous system? The challenge is that you wouldn't know. So if you've not had your nervous system checked in the last 3 months, or if you have any of the traditional warning signs of dysfunction in the nervous system, this is the one system that runs and governs and controls your body. It's time to get it checked. The reality is my world was changed by the fact that I identified what the cause of my problems were, but then I learned to respect the intelligence within. When you understand that the body needs no help, just no interference, that the greatest doctor in the world doesn't live outside but lives right inside of you. When you understand that principle, you can change your life.